speaking of guns, this guy, he's a weirdo, but I really like his content. His name is Viva Frey. He's on Twitter. He posted this. He fact-checked Kamala because Kamala was talking about not wanting to confiscate your guns, and she's like, I'm a gun owner, so is Tim Walz.
First time she's ever said that she's a gun owner, and not that I don't trust a liar when they say something that I don't believe. I'd like to see some receipts. What type of gun? When did she get it? Because if she's talking about the guns her Secret Service owns, I'm a beneficiary owner of
It's
guns.
a military-style assault rifle.
She's never mentioned that she's a gun owner
ever.
Forever.
I want to see
What an opportune time.
It has a 30-clip round magazine, and it's as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving.
Yeah, I don't believe her, but this is her back in the day, older clip, right?
29.
Talking about talking about gun confiscation. Go ahead, play it.
Adding to your gun control agenda? Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said, my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
And that's on the issue of, I believe it's mandatory buybacks. Which is also known as confiscation.
It's confiscation. She's saying she's gonna come for your freaking.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say we could play the Warnock video as well because this is the one.
This one?
This is unequivocal. This is now. This is now, and this is what's the Warnock's position?
Warnock,
governor. I want to say governor.
Senator Georgia.
Either way. He's clear and unequivocal. We need to get to where we need to get, and we're gonna, do what we need to get there. Play this, and this leaves no room for doubt anymore.
Should she also be, in your opinion, supporting a mandatory gun buyback program?
Listen, we're not going to be able to get where we need to go without action in Congress. We've got to pass some laws to deal with this. Now, I was heartened by the fact that 2 years ago we finally did a gun safety law, the Safer Communities Act, and it was the first gun safety law we passed in 30 years. 30 years. And it was modest, but it did save lives, but clearly in the wake of what happened just the other day in Winder, Georgia, it's not enough. And the least we can do is move forward on the bipartisan spaces where ordinary people agree.
Notice there has been
clearly there's a disconnect between what the people, the American people want, and what they're able to get out of their government. Again, 87% of Americans believe in background checks, and yet I hear politicians say that it's not guns who kill people, it's people who kill people, and yet we don't even want to know who those people are. We won't even support.
Senator, just yes or no, though, should she support the mandatory buyback program? Just a yes or no.
Listen, look, as a pastor, I've done buyback programs. You can pick this issue or that issue. But I think that, again, there's not one single thing that will make all of this go away.
That's a yes. Listen, I don't want to say it because it would be very bad if I do, but yeah.
Speaking of hills to die on, this is the fucking hill to die on. Mandatory gun buybacks, never. That's death for everybody.
No,
like that's what. Look what happened to Australia. Australia had this fake mass shooting in Port Arthur in the 90s, and they all had mandatory gun buybacks, and now they can't have any say over what happens in their country. That's why I say 500 patriots need to run for Congress, because that's what he's talking about. He wants Congress to make laws that make this happen. Congress can move mountains if they're united behind something. So if God forbid Kamala wins and the House flips, then they could actually do this, and they could add Supreme Court justices too. So that's why Congress is so important, that regular people need to run for Congress.
What's up, Rob?
Well, 2019, so that's when she made the comments about the mandatory gun buyback program, correct?
I don't want to necessarily. I believe so, but I might be wrong.
It was during her last run for president.
During that same run, she also announced that if she was elected into office, she would utilize the Department of Justice to go after social media companies that allow disinformation to be spread on their platform.
Wow.
Which is exactly what ended up happening to Telegram's CEO.
Pavel Durov.
Yes. So,
legend.
In what world, just ask yourself this, in what world is the party of censoring free speech, removing your rights to guns, taxing you into oblivion? Who supports any of that? When has anybody ever been on the right side of history when they've censored free speech?
Never.
Answer that question. Ever.
Nope.
But Democrats are the party of freedom because it's Republicans who want to get gay porn out of public schools. That's the real problem. That's the hill to die on, people.
Well, they misuse the word democracy. Like when they say democracy, you have to think of the system they built for themselves. That's a wealth extraction machine. You know, it's not democracy in the traditional sense. It's this whole different thing. But whenever they say he's a threat to democracy or we're protecting democracy, they're precisely talking about that.
And that point was made last night during the debate, and Donald Trump handled it masterfully. You know what he said? I'm a threat to democracy. 14 million people voted for Joe Biden to be your nominee. Kamala Harris didn't get one single vote, so don't sit here and tell me I'm the threat to democracy when you are literally, what's the term when you subvert democracy?
Subvert
democracy? Destroy democracy? Ignore democracy? How can you sit here and say, because he went out on January 6th and told people to go home?
Yeah.
He's the threat.
Peacefully.
Look, I think RFK basically enunciated it or elucidated it the best in his speech, where he says, like, the Democrat Party of my father was anti-big pharma, anti-big government, anti-war, pro-free speech, and the Democrat Party today is the exact opposite in every aspect of it. And by the way, the mandatory buyback, people might want to look up Wounded Knee Massacre if anybody doesn't know about that. I think it's the biggest mass murder in American history, where they took away the Lakota tribe members' guns for their own safety, and then a few days later massacred about 300.
I love that.
Yep, that's
We're
what
going to
happens.
take your weapons for your own safety.
and then
kill
slaughtered them.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right,
Well,
guys.
think about the notion of a buyback.
Mandatory buyback.
Mandatory is the word.
The government did not sell it to you, so they can't buy anything back.
And they're buying it back with your
our
money.
money.
with our
With our
money that
tax
we
dollar.
gave them. So
That is the hill to die.
I forget which founding father it was who said democracy only lasts up until the government realizes it can bribe the people with their own money, and we are well past that
Well, they
point.
did that during COVID. Remember?
Yeah.
Hey, go get the COVID shot and get a free cheeseburger. And there were idiots that were like, "Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm
Let me go-
starving.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
this,
starving.
I'm gonna go get myocarditis and I'll end up being obese."
This virus
That's
that
called evolution,
primarily-
survival of the fittest.
virus that primarily kills
the
heavy-set
obese.
people. Let's get donuts and pizza and burgers if you get the
I mean,
shot.
every time I think about everything we went through during COVID, where they had the lotteries for it, the burgers,
What do you
a
mean?
beer.
Mayor de Blasio was like, "What's that?" They get this
slob.
burger element, bro.
Oh, that
what
tastes-
a
it tastes like-
disgusting human being.
Yeah.
De Blasio, and I just saw who's that? Scott Labeo, the guy, our painter friend,
the Italian painter from
Italian
New York.
painter. He's freaking amazing, bro. He did a video. He's like, "Hey, De Blasio," and he goes, "You're a freaking scumbag piece of shit." Dude, I watched it probably 50 times.
So when you look at those things, though, Viva, you brought up a great point. When we look at that stuff, who's the crazy ones now? Is it the people who are calling that out and saying, "Hey, this is weird," or the people who still buy into it, or the people that were part of it?
Well, if you ask the friend who unfriended me, a lifelong friend of 20 some odd years who basically in a DM on Instagram said, "Let's not pretend there's anything here anymore." I'm the crazy one. I had a friend who I haven't fought with him in a long time because he doesn't return my messages. I screen recorded all of our dialogue throughout COVID. We're like, "Oh yeah, they said you can't protest because it's a mass spreader event, but then they said BLM can protest." And his response was, "Yeah, that's problematic." I was like, "No, it's not problematic. You're being lied to and you're a moron for believing it." They still think I'm crazy.
So if you like this clip, click right here, and if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.